On the eve of Independence Day, and my God, is a whole bunch of crazy shit already breaking out. We're going to have a more dedicated segment to that later in the day, but right now, there's a really weird story that has started early in the morning and then already wrapped up, and then there's currently just about a riot going on in Los Angeles, but it's all of it is just insane right now. And this one right here is a group of dudes in Massachusetts wearing what looks to be military garb, carrying rifles around, and live streaming the entire event, trying to drum up sympathy. I'd imagine the live stream is probably still up, and we're just going to go through a couple of stills of this because I couldn't be asked, but this is a weird one. Police arrest 11 in a sweep of the woods after heavily armed sovereign citizen militia fled during traffic stop. You see, I'd be alright and I'd be making a couple more questions if it was just a bunch of guys who were, I'll just go ahead and I'll spoil it a little bit. This is what these guys were dressed like in tactical gear from head to toe. Like, that looks like somebody wants to be impersonating the military, wants to cause a scene, but then they'd go ahead and cry, you know what they'd cry immediately, racism. Then they'd say, oh, we're just exercising our rights. But at the same time, you also blew a traffic stop that wasn't being racist or what have you that instigated this entire thing. But that was their go-to call. So yeah, they fled a traffic stop, then went on YouTube to claim they ran because they were scared. Well, isn't that why you had the guns to begin with? Because if you were scared, then you could take the responsibility of guarding yourself. And then if it was just a routine traffic stop, don't you think that your rifles would outweigh their handguns? I don't know. It just all seems like a dog and pony show, if you ask me. Massachusetts police have taken 11 armed and dangerous men into custody after they fled from police during a traffic stop overnight. A state trooper spotted the group, who claimed to be members of the Rise of the Moors. I don't know. But we'll get into their backstory because they're kind of hilarious. Okay. At the side of the Interstate 95 between Wakefield and Reading around 1 a.m. Saturday, the men who were dressed in tactical style gear, no, it was just tactical gear. I don't know how effective it is, but yeah, to say that it's tactical style gear is like saying that anything that's a big scary black rifle is an assault weapon when it just has a pistol grip. It's totally fucking useless to describe anything like that. And armed with both pistols and rifles, refused to comply with orders to drop their weapons and ran into the woodlands at the side of the road. Did they drop their weapons and then run? Because that would be pretty stupid. Massachusetts State Police issued an urgent shelter-in-place warning for residents of Wakefield and Reading. Yeah, because they were, at that point, fleeing police, probably resisting arrest because they were fleeing the police, and from what they could tell, heavily armed. And what could be perceived, at least from my eyes, like I said, I don't know if it's effective, but they were armored as well, so they were bracing for a shootout. Massachusetts State Police issued an urgent shelter-in-place warning for residents of Wakefield and Reading and urged them to lock their doors. They added that the group were dangerous and do not recognize U.S. law. Okay, another reason to shelter in place. Sweet. The I-95 was subsequently closed down as cops combed the area to search for the men. Yeah. And when you're dressed like that, you're signaling that you're inviting, or at least anticipating, a conflict. So yeah, that would be why the armored vehicles would show up. 2 of them were captured and arrested shortly after daybreak. That'd be those 2 individuals right there. And 7 other were found and taken into custody around 1:30 a.m. Police initially reported 9 suspects were taken into custody, but 2 more were taken into custody in their vehicle later Saturday morning. 2 suspects were hospitalized, but police said it was from pre-existing conditions that had nothing to do with the standoff, okay? The men claim to be a part of the group, the Rise of the Moors. It is currently unclear how closely they are related to the Moorish Sovereign Citizens, a separate extremist group of squatters who do not recognize the authority of the United States government or its laws. So they're just Chaz and Chop residents wherever they roam, because that's a thing you can do. The Southern Poverty Law Center describes the Moorish Sovereign Citizen movement as a collective of independent organizations and lone individuals that emerged in the early 1990s as an offshoot of the anti-government Sovereign Citizens movement, which believes that individual citizens hold sovereignty over and are independent of the authority of federal and state governments. Pretty based. But that's not all they believe in. But of course, that's all that the Southern Poverty Law Center would describe them as, because they're much more race over facts type people. Police say they made no specific demands. They are now sweeping the men's vehicles and surrounding woodlands to make sure no weapons were left behind. During the press conference, cops confirmed that the members of the group posted to a YouTube account, Rise of the Moors, early on Saturday morning. Yeah, the video's out there. I seen clips and snippets of it, and that made me want to dig a little bit deeper into what the fuck is going on with these people. One clip shows several men dressed in camouflage waving a Moroccan flag as they stand at the side of I-95 and declared, "We are not anti-government." Okay, so you're anti-government until you get caught, and then all of a sudden you want to cuck out to them? Really strong convictions you people have. A separate video filmed after daybreak shows one of the camouflage-clad members speaking directly to the camera, stating, "We are not anti-police. We're not sovereign citizens. We're not black identity extremists. The possession of a gun per se constitutes no offense, so we haven't violated any laws." You fled police and you broke a traffic stop. I would say you violated at least a couple of laws right there. Just saying. And it's Massachusetts. Like it or not, there's quite stringent gun laws there. So I'm not saying that there's anything that you should be paying attention to when it comes to gun laws, except for what's on the books. And if you broke no laws, if you haven't done anything like that, and you can rely on your Second Amendment protections, then why did you flee police traffic stops to begin with? Just asking. The police saw us on the side of the road with our guns. We were afraid, so we got out with our arms. Okay, they saw us on the side of the road, so you got out on the side of the road with your guns. Makes sense. And I have a body camera, and that's been recording the whole time, the Rise of the Moors member insisted. Okay, we reassured them multiple times that we were abiding by federal laws. Oh, sorry, but you gotta listen to state laws as well, so sucks to suck. As well as judicial opinions of the United States Supreme Court, but they keep portraying us as being anti-government, and we're not anti-government at all. You don't get to pick and choose, pal. It's fucking wholesale or nothing. He's trying to go with the latter option, but that one's not on the table. Meanwhile, another clip titled "Moroccan Peace" featured the man saying, according to U.S. federal law, we have the right to peacefully journey, so that being said, we should not have been detained here. I would love for all countries to be adopting that federal law. That's just not the case, and we can't play by imaginary rules. If you want to change the laws, feel free. Vote in people who would change those laws. We were not pulled over, we were stopped. Oh, we stopped to fuel our vehicle. That would probably why you instigated an altercation with police. Hey, somebody's pulled over at the side of the road. Why are those guys completely dressed head to toe in tactical gear? Okay, why do they have rifles strapped to their back? Okay, we should probably see what the fuck is going on here, because we have a community to protect. I'm just saying, white, black, yellow, orange, pink, green, or purple, you would have been stopped by the cops the exact same way. He continued, our vehicle is full of camping equipment, which supports what I said, that we are going to our private land to train, which is our Second Amendment right. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. But were you storing your firearms properly? Because there are certain rules on the books in Massachusetts, like I said, about transportation of firearms. They're stupid. They're retarded. I don't want to see any of them on the books, but that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And if you guys are from one state and then you travel through Massachusetts, it doesn't matter what you have to say in, Pennsylvania, and you're traveling through Massachusetts in order to get to Rhode Island or something, wherever you have, okay? You gotta respect the laws of the places you're going through. That's something that cops get people on all the fucking time. Okay? Because if people want to go to a shooting range, if you live in, let's just say, upstate New York or something. Anthony Cumia, somebody I reference all the time, lives out on Long Island, used to go to a shooting range in Pennsylvania. He had to be cognizant of the rules that are in place in New York because they're far more stringent than that in Pennsylvania. And while you could adhere to the lesser rules in Pennsylvania, you'd still have to adhere to the fact that a magazine cannot be in a firearm and it can't be loaded at the same time, and you can't have the magazine within close proximity, i.e. the magazine or the firearm had to be in the trunk and the magazine had to be in the cab of the vehicle. It's fucking stupid. But them are the breaks if you don't want to get fucking fined and have your firearms confiscated. I assured them that we have planned to fill up these fuel tanks, which I'm about to show you right now, so that way we don't have to make unnecessary stops, so we could just have passed through their state. There you go. That's what I'm thinking, okay? They think that they might not have broken any laws, and they're only going to adhere to federal laws, and, because we're going through states, federal laws are the only ones that apply. They don't. They don't for obvious reasons. I don't care what the rest of them are, but the Moorish Sovereign Citizens, an extremist group who claim to be America's original inhabitants. Fucking what? You see, the Moors, they were actually here before the indigenous people, and they are in fact the indigenous people. So those fucking feather guys with the teepee and the fucking smoke signals, they can get the fuck out, because the Moors, they were here first. Well, the group of men pulled over in Massachusetts on Saturday proclaimed to be members of Rise of the Moors. It is unclear how closely they are linked to the Moorish sovereign citizens, an extremist political movement that emerged in the mid-1990s on the U.S. East Coast. You can see why connections are drawn. You'd have to comb through some of their material, but I just find this video, or this entire topic, hilarious. So we'll see what the MSC is all about. Rise of the Moors members insist they are not anti-police or anti-government and are not sovereign citizens. They also purport to be abiding by U.S. laws, unlike Moorish sovereign citizens. MSC founder Noble Drew Ali taught the Black Moors were America's first original inhabitants and were therefore entitled to self-governing status. He believed that all African Americans were descendants from Moabites, or Moabites, sure, and were therefore Moorish. Some Islamic historians believe that Moors and Muslim groups reached the Americans before Christopher Columbus. Now, why didn't they set up civilization? Fucking weird. Moorish sovereigns believe that entitles them to claim immunity from federal, state, local laws, and can sometimes cite God's law or common law over constitutional authority. Actually sounds pretty based, except for their founding theory, which is kind of stupid. But yeah, that one seems all wrapped up. We'll get more information as charges get laid and, well, more information comes out. So, for all intents and purposes, this one's pretty much wrapped up, and it was just a funny, weird little story that I seen this morning that I thought I'd share with everyone. And now something else that I seen this morning that is not as funny, because a huge Antifa beatdown was taking place in Los Angeles. It's fucking weird how powerful a myth or an idea can be and how much havoc they can really wrought on society. Antifa militants assault conservative demonstrators, reporters at LA spa protest. As you can see, accosting very difficult targets, leaving somebody completely bloodied. Oh yes, and then dragging what looks to be a woman to the ground because yes, they're all about women's rights, equity, and everything that a good idea is all about. Antifa assaulted demonstrators and reporters at a protest Saturday outside of Los Angeles Spa, where customers complained last week that a male individual's genitals were exposed to women and girls in the female section. Yeah, this is a story as well. Antifa showed up to the counter with small demonstration accusing participants of transphobia for taking issue with We Spa's refusal to act against the adult male who exposed his genitals to girls and women's. Yes, because he wanted to get his feminine balls and dick waxed. That is a real thing that is happening in 2021. Remember when it used to be just bake the cake, bigot? Well, now it's wax the balls, bigot. A mob of Antifa militants punched a man and chased and assaulted a videographer at the We Spa demonstration in Koreatown. Stop Asian hate. Unless they aren't gonna make a female dick and balls silky smooth. Now, instead of just running through this entire exhaustive list of videos, I thought I'd share some with you, straight from Andy No's page. As you can see here, that is the guy who was all bloodied up beforehand. And as you can see, we'll just go ahead and skip ahead, because obviously we all know how this guy ends up. Yep, he gets accosted, he gets hit in the back by somebody who's really brave. And yep, continues to walk down, get accosted by little women who just, you can't hurt them because violence against women is wrong, but they can go ahead and get right up in your face and act nothing womanly and continue to get accosted. We'll just skip ahead because, of course, they got to run down and beat down people. And don't worry, we have plenty more because, yes, there's another angle of the big melee that happened. As you can see, it's very wonderful things that are breaking out in Los Angeles. It's not even the worst place in California right now. Like San Francisco, which we're going to get to in the second video, is significantly worse than that. And then, yeah, right in front of the We Spa, this guy's just trying to walk away. And, yeah, he's getting beat in the back. And once again, Antifa just showing how strong and powerful they are, covering up their face, using umbrellas because, they're fighting fascists. They just don't want to let you know who's actually fighting the fascists. And the fascist being the guy with, wearing sunglasses outside on a summer day and not retaliating against these fucking assholes. Yeah, press. I just want to go back and I want to, that's what they do all the fucking time, okay? Whenever you hear, oh, press people were assaulted at these peaceful protests, that's a member of Antifa right there. And that's all they do to pass off as just being a part of the media. Oh, we're just here to video what's going on. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing. We're a part of the press. But then, yeah, they'll get the cover of the brave, fat-armed individuals with the fucking umbrellas. Dude, it continues to go on and on and on, and it's been going on for hours at this point, and I don't even know what to fucking say at this point. It's fucking disgusting, and it's emblematic of current day California. Nothing's really gonna change about this until people start fighting back, honestly. You know what, they can keep turning the other cheek, but at some point, you gotta take a look at an alternate interpretation of turn the other cheek. You can only disregard this violence for so long before somebody starts turning up, and then, yeah, guess what? There won't be an Antifa problem anymore, and they'll become an actual myth. But yeah, let's talk about what's happening in San Francisco, because it's not good. There's been a lot of petty crime that's been going on lately that's leading to, well, to be blunt, an entire failed state at this point. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Catch y'all later.